And I am not human. That's right, I said in my adept video that I don't play the human sentinels. They're a very forgettable class. They don't bring a whole lot to the table that someone else in the game can just do a lot better, to be honest. I remember when I first heard that Mass Effect 3 was going to get multiplayer, the first thing I said to my mates, I'm going to be a Turian. And there's a little pack you get, if I remember correctly, when you first start multiplayer, like an introductory pack. And the moment I opened that, I actually unlocked the Turian Sentinel. This is the first character I ever played in the multiplayer, and back then I didn't like him. It was a sudden change for me to go from Shepherd to this guy who can't dodge roll or anything, and not particularly tanky either, so it just felt really awkward for me. It took me a while before I truly learned to appreciate what the Turians bring to the game. Let's just go ahead and jump into the build. Okay, now this guy is the guy with the tech armor that says bad motherfucker on it, and I'm only going to put 3 points into it. That's going to be more than enough to basically give me some really great survivability. I mean, what is it, at rank 1 it gives you 35% damage reduction. That's really fantastic. Obviously you're going to be able to just go into recharge speed and damage and radius. They're not particularly important to you, but you know, you've got nowhere else to put these points by the time we finish this build, and actually damage and radius is going to come into some use for you. As a Turian, like I said, you've got no dodge, you've got no evasive move, so when a phantom closes in on you, you're in a bit of trouble. Unless you're carrying a weapon or you've got a power that's going to basically stop her, she's going to kill you. And basically detonating your tech armor will stagger her every single time. She'll really going to save you. So literally, that's like a last minute thing. Other than that, you're going to keep your tech armor on at all times. The reason though I don't go for the full durability with it, which is, you know, it's all good, is because he's got warp and overload. They're both fantastic powers. You gotta sink some points into this, and he's a Turian too, so you want to max out his passives. They bring some really fantastic weapon bonuses to the game, so let's just have a quick look at that. Warp is going to be the same old story, like I told you. I always build it this way. I go for detonate and then I go for expose. If you want to fully max it out, go for pierce. Okay, but I obviously didn't take that space because I wanted the tech armor and I wanted everything else more. So overload, again, I'm going to squeeze as much damage as I can out of the thing. I'm going to go for damage, neural shock and chain overload. For the Turian veteran, now this is where it gets juicy. Turians don't just bring great weapon damage buffs; they also bring extra stability. This makes a lot of tricky guns in the game just really easy to use when you're a Turian. So with the first rank, I'm going to give you damage and stability. So that's a 10% weapon damage and weapon stability bonus. Take the power damage for the next rank though, because you are a Sentinel. You've got 2 great powers there, so it's good that they hurt. And then we're going to go for some more damage and stability. Okay, that's going to give us 37.5 weapon damage bonus and 55% weapon stability bonus. This is going to make this is just going to open up all the guns to you, really. And then for fitness, we're going to go all health and shields. That's durability, shield recharge, and fitness expert. It gives you 950 health and 1,425 shields. So they're decent shields. They're really good shields. And with the right equipment, you can tank with this Turian. You really can tank quite efficiently. We'll have a look into that now. But first, actually, we need to take a look at the weapons. Now I'm going to go with the Hurricane. As a Turian, I'm going to have absolutely no kick with this gun, but I'm going to teach you how to use that gun on any character anyway. You know the mods for this bad boy. Get yourself a heat sink and a high velocity barrel on it. Okay, but you can also treat yourself to some of the other guns. I mean the other SMGs as well with this guy, like the Tempest. Obviously, because you know, especially if you're new to the game, you're going to get your hands on the Tempest before most other guns. And the Tempest is good. It is good. It does quite a bit of damage. It does chew through armor with the same mods and stuff. And with it being on a Turian, you're not going to really feel that kick at all. So that's going to work out great for you. And then there's the Collector SMG. You know the story behind that one. Okay, you can also stick the piranhas great on him. Obviously, the piranhas are a rapid-fire shotgun. That 2 armor too. It's light as hell as well, so it's going to be great for your caster characters. And obviously, you're a Turian, so that's not going to be bouncing around in your hands and stuff. You're just going to be able to just pinpoint your piranha shots there. So that's always a nice one for him. And but another great load of weapons so is the assault rifles for the character, because very much like with the engineer in my last video, his powers are both soften up powers. You know, you got warp to weaken armor, and you've got overload to strip shields, and then you're gonna just want to gun the enemy down. Then, especially as a Turian, I mean, if you're not gunning with a Turian, you're not playing the Turian right. I'm gotta be honest with you. And as a Turian with tech armor, you can afford to, you know, work some of the uncommon guns here, like the Facestun. This gun gets really effective when you're up close, and obviously in a Turian's hands, it's really effective. It's a Turian weapon after all, but you know, so you've got a great opportunity to do really well with the Facestun. The Vindicator's the next one. Vindicator's another great gun. This one's a burst fire gun, but as long as you've got a good trigger finger, you're going to get some great damage out of this gun, and it's not going to bounce around on you on a Turian either. The mods I'm going to recommend for both of those, though, of course, are going to be the piercing mod and the extended barrel. Okay, like I said before, with my whole high velocity barrel for the assault rifles. Now, there's also the Revenant. That's a gold gun. The Revenant wants to be held by a Turian. Really, this thing's got really the kickback on this gun is too much for its damage output. But you know, you put it on a Turian, and that becomes obsolete then, and you've got yourself a really nice boss killer then. That's going to chew through some armor for you. Revenant's nice, and you can go mad as well. Then you can go with the Typhoon on this guy. Mods I'm going to recommend for the Typhoon, of course, are going to be the mag upgrade, the magazine upgrade, and the high velocity barrel. I did cover all this before in the last 2 videos. Basically, because you're Turians are weapon guys, they really are. So, and you know, you soften up a guy and then just unload with the Typhoon. You know what I mean? You're not going to get to soften up too frequently because the Typhoon's heavy as hell, but my god, yeah, you're going to make up for it in weapon damage, and there's more to that story later, because we're going to look at the equipment now. For the equipment, I'm going to recommend warp ammo. Okay, warp ammo is just gonna it's a fantastic ammo. It's one of the best ammos in the game, and obviously because we're going for such rapid fire, it's and we're just going to be drilling warp ammo into the enemy after we've warped them as well. Stuff is going to drop really quick on us. If you haven't got any warp ammo, the elemental ammo is good. You know, incendiary, disruptor, cryo. Okay, because both of your powers are going to detonate. Okay, they're going to detonate that ammo for you, so you're going to get explosions with them. For your armor bonus, though, get a cyclonic modulator on him. Again, if you put 3 and 4 cyclonic modulator on this character, you will tank quite efficiently. You know, you can really stand out in the open and take some punishment with this character. So don't be stingy with your cyclonic mods. Like this is there's some characters that just you should always put cyclonic modulators on them, but there are options. I mean, like I said, the cyclonic modulators are important to a lot of people, so you're going to run out. You can obviously go for your power amplifier, so your powers hurt more. Power efficiency, if you're carrying a heavier gun and you really want to get your powers out faster, because obviously overload is going to give you some very much needed crowd control. So yeah, and stability module. If you got the I'm going to stick with stability module. I'm going to struggle to say that for some reason. If you got the stability module on and you got the Turian stability, you can snipe with a Typhoon. Okay, the Typhoons will on any normal character will just sort of wave all over the place, and there's going to be tons of kick when you're using the Typhoon out of hard cover. Okay, it's one of the guns they kind of want you to mount and sort of camp with, but no, you can just run around and snipe with a Typhoon if you've got that collection of stability going on. All right, for the gear, I'm going to recommend that you go with the expert package, actually, especially if you're going to stick with a hurricane like me. Didn't say that out loud, but I hope you saw. I go with a hurricane, and that's going to give me 12% bonus to SMG damage, and then give me a power recharge speed of 12%. Because tech armor does it does reduce your power cooldown by 50%, something like that if I remember correctly. So you know there is going to be a bit of a lag in your powers with the tech armor. Not massive. I mean, it's not going to really impede you, but this mod's going to basically make you forget about it. Obviously, you can go with your mental focuser. Okay, because you've got tech and biotic powers, and the mental focuser is it's going to let you power them both up by 12%. There's also SMG amp, because you know, any weapon amp to just boost that weapon damage even further. We are going to be gunning a lot, and you know, if you wanted to tank incredibly, you can go with shield boost, stronghold package, survivor loadout. But there's also structural ergonomics if you were to go with like that typhoon again. So you know, you've got your powers getting out there quite regularly while you're just doing incredible gunning damage there. All right. That's going to get us ready to go. Obviously, you're going to put the weapon bonus you need on, and we're going to jump into the gameplay. Alright, here we go. I'm joined by my faithful manservant Dominoes here again. I've only got a Cyclonic Modulator 1 for this video, unfortunately. I've burned through my little supply, and the store's not giving me any more. It's really annoying how that works. It really messes up how you want to play the game, but I'm just not going to be able to take as much damage as I could, but I'm still going to sort of have some decent survivability there, and it's all thanks to the tech armor. Oh, now I'm on the point, actually, I really should bring up, I mentioned like how the tech armor's power cooldown doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter in my circumstances, what I mean. It's, I'm using a Hurricane, so I've got a 200% recharge speed bonus on top of the Turian recharge speed, which is better than most, actually, because they've got they've got a greater capacity for weapons, so they can hold heavier equipment as well. So you know, that all adds up, and I've got a really great recharge speed regardless. But you know, if you went for the Typhoon, for instance, yeah, it's gonna matter, because that's because you're probably going to be negative then. To be honest, you're going to be you're going to have a negative rather than a bonus on your recharge speed, and then that's going to slow you down twice as much. So it does change the way you play. But like I said, it's you're basically replacing power damage for weapon damage in that situation. And I mean, you only need to get one warp out on an enemy and then pour in a Typhoon with warp ammo, and they are going to die. I mean, armor piercing rounds is actually better for the Typhoon, because as I explained with the whole multiplier that armor has, that's just going to basically make it irrelevant. But it's still, you know, warp ammo on a warped target is just great. Now, I hope you've spotted in now. I'm not aiming. No, I'm not pressing my left trigger there to zoom in on the enemy and sort of get my shot. I'm firing from the hip with the Hurricane, because there's like no kick when you do that. A lot of weapons that give you a lot of kick, you can pretty much just get round it by just making yourself comfortable with shooting from the hip. I'll only sort of aim there when the enemy's got some distance on me, and I do need to sort of narrow the spread. And I can get away with it a lot more as well, because I'm a Turian, so that's great. You know, any character that can sort of improve the... I mean, the Turian soldier is even better again then, because he's got marksman, which improves your accuracy. And as I've explained before, accuracy in this game is all about reducing the spread, so, you know, you can just go nuts with a Turian soldier's marksman. Yes, and obviously the Geth Infiltrator is another great one. He's because well, any Geth really, because of Hunter mode, that gives you a nice accuracy bonus. And yeah, so you know, it's something you should be familiar with now. I just sort of it's very much like my engineer gameplay. I'll zap the enemy with overload, and then I'll just pour my shots into them. And I'll cancel reload then with my next overload. If I'm going to be dealing with an armoured target, I'm going to hit them with warp and then do the same thing. And just warp. Basically, when I've got because of the rate of fire on the Hurricane, I'm just going to be doing so much damage with the warp ammo on top of that warp target. It's going to be really nice. So here we are. This is Hazard Ghost. I'm with Cerberus again, unfortunately. I know I just did Cerberus, but what are you going to do? Cerberus, in my opinion, Cerberus are the most fun to fight. Dragoons came and screwed things up a bit, but they're still. I find Cerberus the most entertaining enemy, because they're like they said, they're quite clever in some regards. So they. I don't know. It's like I don't know how to put it. It's like with because like the Geth just force you into cover so frequently. They kind of slow you down and let it drag. They're very frustrating. And the Reapers and the Collectors just butt rush you. So it's just basically it's do or die with those two guys. You just got to outgun them, or do a lot of running around if you're incapable of that. Whereas Cerberus, they just sort of there's so much more opportunity with Cerberus. You can track them down, or you can try better, or you can try the superior tactics and stuff with them. They're really quite inviting, and I just find their enemies are just more entertaining. I mean, the Phantom is the most unique enemy in the game by far. She completely overshadows the Atlas. I mean, the Atlas is supposed to be their big boss, but the Phantom steals the show. She really does. She's the enemy to worry about to a Cerberus. I mean, an Atlas is only dangerous if you're standing out in the open in front of it. It's like the Phantom, though. She's got such incredible damage reduction between her little cartwheels, which give her immense damage reduction, and her little barrier, which blocks powers and gives her some sort of weapon reduction, as far as I can tell. She can out tank an Atlas. She's normally hard. She normally takes more hits than an Atlas due to all that business, and she can sink kill just like the Atlas, and she does it more efficiently. And her hand cannon is just so powerful. I think it's really puts his hand cannon to the Atlas's hand cannon. Is like, I don't even know which one is stronger, to be honest. There you go. See his his shields are stripped. I'm going to throw a warp in there and just start drilling him. See, now I like this hazard map. This and Glacier are my favourite hazard maps. They're real hazards, to be honest. I mean, there's ones that impede your fizzing, and then there's Giant, which is just not a hazard, is it? Unless you're scared of the dark. I like this one. It's changes the way you really does change the way you play the old Ghost map. Because especially if you're someone very reliant on your shields and stuff, it does kind of make you reconsider where you're going to fight the enemy. So, Phantom's slightly different. I don't really go with overload on these guys. I do just start throwing warps at them. They've got barriers and health, so warp's going to do more damage in that respect. And because she just runs through overloads. She's not like every other sort of small trooper enemy. She's not a small trooper enemy, but she just kind of looks like one. She just runs through overload. She never gets stunned by it ever, so that's not going to stop her, and you kind of want to stop her. Whereas if I throw warp at her, she'll either try and cartwheel out the way, or she'll put up her barrier, and if she puts up that barrier, she's mine, because she stops there, and then I've just got her. Then I'm just going to empty my hurricane into her. So that's why I do it mainly. It's just so in hopes, because she puts up her little bubble sphere barrier thing that goes up when you throw a projectile power at her. Instant hit powers she doesn't block, your things like your dark channel, your overload, energy drain. But if you've got a power that travels, you like warp and stuff, that's the one she tries to block. So warp's going to force her, it's going to make her still, so I'm not going to be dealing with that damage reduction she has when she's cartwheeling, and then I'm just going to be able to empty my hurricane into her. Another little thing to consider as well is, like, obviously when you go into hardcover, you get some extra stability with your gun, and extra stability means you're going to lose a lot of the spread. It's going to go even more accurate. So with characters like the Turians, if you go into hardcover with them, you can snipe with the Hurricane. I really can. I could shoot across the map with this bad boy, with this Turian. But I'm just going to try and concentrate fire on the Atlas's weak spot, which is that vent thing, on that big pack thing on his back is the Atlas's weak spot. That's where he takes headshot damage. It's not a lot of people might mistake the canopy, and you can do a lot of damage through his canopy if you're using armor piercing rounds. You can actually, there's a bug where you hit the front with you hit the canopy with the bullet, then it pierces, goes right through him, and it hits the pack on his back then, and you're going to get the headshot damage. So you're doing like triple damage on an Atlas then with armor-piercing rounds. That's why I love them so much. Yeah. So if you've got like a rapid-firing gun, like I was saying with the Engineer, when I had the armor-piercing rounds on the Harrier, and I was shooting them in the canopy, they were going down real quick. Because I'm just sort of triple hitting that Atlas then. But obviously I've got the high velocity barrel on the Hurricane, so I'm kind of getting away with that in a less effective sense now with this. Yeah, I'm going the length of Ghost there with the Hurricane, just using the R trigger on a Turian. It's nice stuff. I got like a nemesis trying to strip my shields behind me. It's not an issue. I'm gonna get that Atlas killed, and then I'm gonna turn around and take her out. Overload, stagger, shoot her dead. You can use kick to your advantage a lot as well. And with guns with a lot of kick, if you aim for the stomach and then take like zero control of the gun, it'll just sort of kick up to the enemy's head. That's what I do a lot with these kick guns. Aim for the stomach and just watch the bullets roll up to the head. You'll normally finish them off with a nice headshot then. Because headshot does do a multiplier to damage. It does. You get like a... Not entirely sure what it is actually off the top of my head. I want to say ×2. It might be 1.5. I don't know. Basically you're going to kill them fast if you shoot them in the head. You know, that's all you really need to know. Now, see, with let's talk about how to handle some of these objectives, actually, because something I haven't really done. When you're doing things like this, disable the devices, the best thing you can really do for your teammate is not crowd him, because that's going to, if you can just sort of keep the enemy distracted a good space away from him, he's going to take 0 damage, and then he's going to be able to do that quite peacefully. There's not going to be any interruptions. So, you know, see, I had all the team then, they were all on the other side of the map, just sort of keeping the enemy there interested and focused on them, and I was just able to painlessly sort out the first 2 devices, and that's the best way to do it. I mean, obviously the device person, if you ever start to get yourself in a tricky situation, call out to the team, tell them I need some help over here. Don't ever stick to the device to the detriment of your health. You know, if you can see a bad situation coming, like you've got a Bwnci approaching you, or some other sync kill enemy, or you've literally got one of those nasty trooper enemies like the Marauder or the Collector Captain just sort of got you in his sights, and they're going to kill you. They're going to kill you quite quick. So, you know, come off the device, you know, clear the area, and then jump back on it. Don't just stick to it to the bitter end. Unless you're one thing to note, I believe it takes 10 seconds to disable a device. Okay, so, you know, unless you know that you're gonna be able to squeeze it and then get away safely, just don't take the risk. Right, let's talk about some of the... Oh, so I'm going to teach you a little bit of spawn control. This area here at the back, as you can see, they're all sort of flooding in. Sometimes they'll just spawn here. They'll be right behind those 2 pillars at the back there. This is a big spawn area for Ghost. And I will call out the others as I move around the map. Even in I don't let the rain dictate what I can and cannot do. That's another spawn area here. This annex they're all coming out of now that we're facing. They'll spawn in there. Quite a big group of them. Oh, they'll drop from the top. Right, here's a Phantom. I think this Phantom might push me into a tricky situation, and I'm going to save... No, I think I'm just going to dead her, actually. Yeah, never mind. I do have proof of my tech armor saving my life from a Phantom in this game. Which is one reason why I was quite happy to get Cerberus again, because it let me show you that. Right, over here... Oh, I'm going to strip her sword, and she's not actually going to be an issue. I think I might tech burst her just for fun. Yeah, there you go, stagger, punch her in the face. Gave me a bit of a rush. I think a little rush I got from that made me do some stupid shit later in the game. I think that's going to get me killed, but there you go. No, where was I? LZ's a spawn point for them. They will spawn up here. They'll spawn in that little annex over there. They'll also spawn right in the entrance of the annex to my left right now. Trying to run off to nuke a spawn now, I think. I think I might be disappointed. Yeah, there's not much going on here. I don't always get it right. What can I say? Yeah, see, still managed to get me then. That was the burning damage from the Atlas missile I took in the back, though, rather than the Phantom. But I used that because obviously I lost my shields and stuff, and I just didn't want her taking me out. So I burst my tech armor so she would keep off me. But still, with I only had a Psychonic Major 1. That Atlas still just burnt me to death there. In here's another big spawn. They'll come in here sometimes. It's not the most frequent one. This isn't one I rush, to be honest, but they will come here if they have to. Yeah, so it's always good to try and get behind the Atlas and just drill his weak spot. Pick up Dom now. I don't let the hazard dictate where I go on this map. I really don't. I just get out there as long as you're smart about it. It's like, there's plenty of cover around this map. This is a really good map to do solo runs with. Oh, this is when I'm going to get stupid now. I enjoyed what I did to the last one too much, so I went to punch her and missed. She stabbed me. So yeah, I'm going to be dead this wave. I'm going to watch some of the others. The wave's not... I think we've bit through like 75% of it, so I'm sure the guys are going to do fine, and they do. They get the job done. But yeah, this is a really good map for soloing. You can really... there's lots and lots of cover in it. So, even though you're losing your shields at quite a constant rate, out in this rain, you can still just stick to cover and avoid dying out here. You don't need to feel like you've got to be indoors there. For for the waves that there is rain, the rain's not random. It's not random. The way play this map a couple of times, you'll see it. I think the rain kicks in on wave 2, ends after wave 3. I think. Don't quote me on this. Dom's going to tease her nemesis now. He's going to trap her in the corner. She's got no close quarter moves, so she's got no melee or anything. So she just panics when she's trapped. She just looks at you with no other options, and then he's going to cruelly just use his annihilation field to just eat her away. Dom is a troll. Dom is a huge troll, and he does it with pride. You'll see me try and trip Dom up constantly, because it's what we do. He started a war, and I'm going to try and give it as good as I get, really, from Dom. He loves to wind me up. Right, see this annex right at the back there with the big 7? That's another big spawn point, and they'll also on the little sort of path to the on the left side of it. If you were looking from LZ, that is, on the left side, they'll all spawn there as well. So it's another big one. Yeah, see, this is one of the spawn points I was talking about earlier. Dom took that one out. I'm just going to put my rockets away and stick to the good old Hurricane. No, good. Keep jumping in and out of this topic. It is a good solo map, the Ghost. It really is. You've got lots of cover, and you can basically just sort of circle the enemy around the map, because that's basically what you really want to do when you're doing your solo runs. As much as I've bitched about Platinum, I can do it. It's a non-issue. I find Platinum boring, not difficult. You can go ahead and check my N7 HQ if you like. I've done a Platinum solo. I did it for my solo mastery. I am a real lone wolf. But yeah, you want to just control where the enemy are at all times when you're soloing, because you don't want them catching you off guard, because the moment that happens, your run is over, to be honest. So with that, because you can just sort of basically just keep the enemy following you around the outskirts of the map, it's going to really slow them down, and you're going to know their position at all times. Ladders fuck enemies up as well. Because they don't, whereas we'll like sort of just roll off a ladder and stuff like that and get around really quickly, the enemy will queue up one by one and slowly climb up and down ladders, so that's something you can use to your advantage, and Ghost has got lots of opportunity for that. shooting into the smoke. I know he's out there somewhere. You do less damage when you shoot through the smoke, but doesn't mean it's pointless to do it. You're still going to do some damage. He's a big target, and I was unlikely to miss him entirely. Always do your checks, though. It is a horde mode game. If you lose focus or you dedicate yourself too much to one particular enemy, something's going to come up behind you and take you by surprise. Always just basically, it doesn't hurt to do your checks. Think of it like driving, if you do drive, of course. Just check your rear mirror now and again, so you know what everyone's doing. I think this might be the wave where I'm going to use tech armor to save me from a sink kill. It's not going to be this Phantom. If I remember, it's at the stairs by the ammo box over here. It's her, I think. Look, right, she's melee me, so she's going for the sink kill. It bursts my tech armor, forces her away, and she just flips away from me. Somebody fires a projectile power at her, she puts up the barrier, and I gun her down. Tech armor, that's the way to go. It's good, also that's a great tactic for the Turian Sentinel as well, because obviously he's got no dodge roll. So that can save him. It's also really satisfying to get a attack armor kill, to be honest. it's what everybody least expects. It was quite funny, this game, actually. I was talking about Dom being a troll. He was literally trying to... I think at the start of this game he was literally trying to stand in front of me, and because your teammates, obviously there's no friendly fire, so your teammates just sort of eat your bullets and sort of sap away the damage you want to do to the enemy, and Dom, because he's a Fury and he's out there, that's what she does. At the beginning of the game he was trying to stand in front of me and just sort of eat up all my hurricane damage just to wind me up, to be honest, but because there was an Asari Valkyrie, he kept confusing me for her because we both got the tech armor on. So yeah, I think he was winding up the pug for most of the video, actually, which was quite funny. Yeah, never feel sorry for Dom. Never feel sorry for Dom. When you see me like lock him in the reactor or detonate abominations next to him, don't ever feel sorry for Dom. He deserves everything he gets. Best ways to always take out Phantoms is to make them lose their footing. I mean, any powers that sort of lift them, like pull, just use there. It's really going to end them. And obviously things like stasis and submissive net, they're all great to just stop her. As long as you immobilizing the Phantom in any way is the way to defeat the Phantom. There's plenty of ways to take her on, and it's always worth considering some way to take her out, because especially if you're like me and you just do a lot of unknown, you can encounter any time. There's a lot of Phantoms on extraction wave though, so I'm going to just try and clear some of them out. Going to make it clearer here for as well, so everyone can just safely get into LZ. I mean, I've got plenty of rockets. There's this safe spot that's somebody's already in it, so they're going to just force me back out if I try to go in it. And I think Don didn't get into LZ in time, so we all get to go home and party without him. But no, there's the Turian Sentinel. I hope you saw just how versatile he really is. I mean, he can take on all comers. Strip shields, strip barriers, weaken armor, weaken barriers, do damage to both, and then he's just got great weapon damage. So there isn't a single enemy in this game this guy can't deal with. He's very flexible as well. Very flexible. Like I said, you can put any kind of gun on him, and you can just sort of trade power damage for weapon damage. You can go caster, you can go combat. You can just get the job done.